Okay, we've reassembled this single temperature valve and we've hooked it up to a water source. And one of the things with pneumatic valves, if they're empty and you hook them up to a water source and turn the water on, they will run immediately. As soon as you let the pressure through, you could hear it possibly filling up with water as we were turning it on. In some cases, they will actually come on and run water for several seconds when they're turned on. In this case, they didn't. So we're going to operate the valve with the push button assembly. We push the button in, you'll notice nothing happens until we release the button, at which time the water begins to flow. Now that flowed for maybe 3 seconds at the most. So what we want to do with this valve is adjust the timing. To do that, we're going to take a small screwdriver, find this small adjustment screw, and turn it clockwise. In this case, I'm going to turn it about a full turn, and we will see what we get with that. We operate the valve again, and we got a little bit longer run time, but that's still not a usable length of time for hand washing. So we're going to give it another full turn and see what happens to us then. Okay, now we have a pretty nice long run time. Not quite long enough though. We need about 15 to 20 seconds for a hand washing setting. So we're going to turn it maybe a half of a turn this time and see what we end up with. Now that's just about the right length of time for hand washing. It allows someone to come up, get their hands wet, and rinse off some of the large grime, soap up, and the valve will shut off while they rub that soap around and get their hands cleaner. Then when they're ready, they can push the button again, and it will run the same length of time, only this time they'll be rinsing the soap off their hands. Usually that's about long enough. That was probably between 10 to 15 seconds run time. For your own particular use, you may want to run anywhere from 15 seconds up to 30 seconds, depending on what your desires are and how much dirt people have to clean off their hands. Now, these valves are also used for shower operation. And this valve can time up to about 2 minutes. You just keep adjusting it inward. I'm going to take it another full turn in, and we should probably be up over a minute time cycle with it now. Again, we push the button in. When it's released, our valve runs. Now when for shower use, you're going to have it run probably a minute to a minute and a half. That allows somebody to get under that stream of water, thoroughly wet themselves up before the stream shuts off, and then they can lather themselves up, wash themselves, and then push the button again when they're ready to rinse. Now when we talk about the flow rate of these valves, normally for hand washing and use as a lavatory valve, the outlet fitting is fitted with a flow restrictor that restricts the flow to 1/2 gallon per minute. Very similar to this white disc you see in the end of that fitting. That's a 0.5 gallon per minute flow restrictor. When we use this valve on shower applications, we will replace that flow restrictor with another one that will flow anywhere from 2.5 gallons per minute all the way down to 1.2 gallons per minute. We have several incremental flow rates for showers that we find with water conservation becoming more of a concern. We can regulate the flow at the valve, not at the shower head, and we can pretty well help people conserve water with that feature. to